Have you ever wondered why some people seem to effortlessly attract wealth while others struggle their entire lives? What if I told you that the difference between financial struggle and abundance could be just one phrase away? A single powerful declaration that, when spoken with absolute conviction, could transform your financial reality overnight? Today, I'm about to share something that most will never discover. A secret so profound, yet so simple, that it's been hiding in plain sight for centuries. This isn't about complex investment strategies or grinding away at multiple side hustles. It's about accessing the true source of wealth that has been within you all along. Has this ever happened to you? You work harder, put in more hours, follow all the conventional financial advice, yet somehow money continues to feel elusive. You watch others prosper while you wonder what secret ingredient you're missing. There's a reason for this, and it's not what most financial gurus are telling you. The truth is, we've been conditioned to believe that wealth is something external, that it comes from luck, chance, inheritance, or back-breaking work. This fundamental misunderstanding is the very illusion keeping abundance at arm's length from you right now. What if I told you that the most powerful minds throughout history discovered that wealth doesn't come to you? It comes through you. Florence Scovel Shinn, one of the greatest spiritual teachers of the 20th century, revealed this transformative truth decades ago, yet its profound simplicity means most people overlook it. She taught that your imagination, not your circumstances, creates your financial reality. Every dollar in your bank account right now is there because of a thought you accepted as true about yourself. Stay with me until the end of this video, because what you're about to discover might completely transform how you think about money forever. I'm going to reveal a single phrase, just one declaration, that when spoken with unwavering faith, opens channels of prosperity you never thought possible. This isn't positive thinking or wishful visualization. This is about fundamentally shifting your identity at the deepest level, where all creation begins. When you make this shift, the outside world has no choice but to reorganize itself around your new self-concept. Money will begin to find you through channels you could never plan or predict. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. What makes this approach different from everything you've tried before is that it doesn't require endless repetition or exhausting effort. The universe doesn't respond to desperation or pleading. It responds to certainty, to knowing. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how to access that state of certainty where wealth becomes not just possible, but inevitable. If you found value in today's message about wealth consciousness, hit that subscribe button to join our community of conscious creators. Imagine for a moment that your words are not simply sounds you make to communicate. Every single word you speak is actually a powerful energy frequency that shapes the very fabric of your reality. This isn't mystical thinking. It's the hidden truth about how consciousness operates. The words you use daily aren't just describing your life, they're actively creating it. The phrase I'm about to reveal to you works because it taps into what Florence Scovel Shinn discovered decades ago. Consciousness is the only real substance from which your entire life is formed. When you declare something with absolute certainty, you're not just making noise, you're sending ripples through the field of infinite possibility, instructing it on what to manifest in your physical experience. Think about it. Have you noticed how people who constantly talk about being sick tend to remain unwell? Or how those who repeatedly discuss their financial struggles seem to attract more bills and expenses? This isn't coincidence or bad luck. It's the language of consciousness at work, faithfully delivering more of whatever state you consistently occupy. The most profound transformation in your financial journey occurs not when your circumstances change, but when your self-concept shifts. When you speak the wealth-activating phrase I'll share with you, something remarkable happens beneath the surface. You're not merely repeating pretty words, you're stepping into an entirely new identity. This identity shift is where the real power lies. It's not the phrase itself that creates wealth, but rather who you become when you speak it with unwavering conviction. Your mind, body, and energy field reorganize around this new declaration. You begin to think different thoughts, notice different opportunities, and take different actions, not through force of will, but through a natural alignment with your newly claimed identity. Consider how differently a person who identifies as wealthy moves through the world compared to someone who identifies as struggling. The wealthy person makes decisions from abundance, expects good outcomes, and feels deserving of prosperity. Their mindset shapes every interaction they have with money. The struggling person, meanwhile, operates from scarcity, expects disappointment, and often feels unworthy of financial blessings. The revolutionary insight here is that you can consciously choose which identity you embody. You're not stuck with the financial self-concept you've carried until now. Through the deliberate use of this precise language pattern, you can initiate an identity-level shift that ripples outward into every aspect of your financial reality. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic and reveal what happens in those critical moments after you speak this phrase. How the silent transformation begins to unfold in ways that might surprise you. If this concept of identity-level transformation resonates with something you've experienced in your own life, write identity shift in the comments below. What happens in the moments after you speak this wealth-activating phrase is nothing short of miraculous, yet it unfolds in perfect silence. After the declaration leaves your lips, there's a profound stillness that descends upon you. Not emptiness, but rather a rich, pregnant silence filled with infinite possibility. This is where the real journey begins. In this sacred space of silent knowing, you'll notice something curious starting to happen. You're no longer chasing money or opportunities. Instead, they begin rising toward you like waves on an ocean shore. This isn't wishful thinking. It's the natural revelation of how universal laws operate. The difference is subtle but profound. Before, you were pursuing wealth. Now, wealth is pursuing you. Many people miss this critical phase because they're looking for immediate, dramatic results. The truth is that the universe rarely works in thunderclaps and lightning strikes. Instead, it operates through synchronicities, through doors that suddenly open where walls once stood, through unexpected phone calls, through ideas that arrive in the shower when your mind is quiet. The transformation isn't loud. It's a whispered invitation to step into your rightful abundance. People often ask me, but how do I know it's working? The answer is elegantly simple. You'll feel different before you see different. There's a calm certainty that washes over you, a sense that the path has already been cleared. You'll catch yourself thinking thoughts that the old you would never have entertained. Of course I can afford this. Money comes to me easily. These aren't affirmations you're forcing. They're authentic reflections of your new alignment. What's happening behind the scenes is that you're no longer at odds with the fundamental truth of abundance. Florence Scovel Shinn discovered that most people unwittingly resist wealth because they haven't aligned their imagination with what's already true about the nature of prosperity. The universe isn't withholding money from you. It's waiting for you to remove your own internal barriers to receiving it. Think of it as tuning a radio to the correct frequency. The music was always playing, but you couldn't hear it because you were tuned to a different station. This wealth frequency isn't something you create. It already exists. Your declaration simply dials you into perfect resonance with it, allowing you to receive what was always there for you. This alignment with truth is why some people seem to attract money effortlessly while others struggle despite working twice as hard. It's never about luck or coincidence. It's about whether your internal state, your beliefs, expectations, and sense of identity are congruent with the prosperity you seek to experience. Let me now share with you the profound impact this inner alignment has on your day-to-day interactions with the material world, and why this approach differs so dramatically from conventional financial wisdom. If you've ever experienced moments where opportunities seem to find you without struggle, type effortless flow in the comments below. One of the most revolutionary aspects of this approach to wealth manifestation is that, unlike conventional methods, it requires only a single declaration. This runs counter to everything you've likely been taught about affirmations or visualization techniques that emphasize endless repetition. The reason most people fail with traditional methods is precisely because they're caught in a loop of repetition that actually reinforces doubt rather than certainty. Think about it this way. If you truly believed you were already wealthy, would you need to remind yourself hundreds of times daily? Of course not. The very act of constant repetition betrays an underlying disbelief. It's like planting a seed and then digging it up every few hours to check if it's growing. This continual disruption prevents the natural process of manifestation from unfolding. When you speak this wealth-activating phrase with absolute conviction just once, something profound happens at the quantum level of reality creation. You're making a decisive, energetic declaration to the universe. Then, instead of undermining it with doubt disguised as repetition, you simply live from that new paradigm. The seed is planted. Your job now is to water it with expectation and protect it with unwavering faith. Florence Scovel Shinn understood this profound truth about the architecture of reality. She taught that our words aren't just descriptive, they're creative in the most literal sense. Every word you speak is a seed planted in the fertile soil of universal consciousness. Most words are like seeds scattered on rocky ground. They never take root. But certain declarations, spoken with feeling and conviction, sink deep into the subconscious mind where all creation begins. Ready to continue this journey of transformation? Subscribe now and discover more powerful insights that can change your financial reality forever. These potent word seeds begin to germinate in the dark soil of your unconscious, sending roots downward and shoots upward, eventually breaking through into your visible reality as circumstances, opportunities, and tangible wealth. This isn't metaphorical. It's the literal mechanism by which your spoken word becomes your lived experience. The most successful people in history understood this hidden principle. They carefully guarded what they allowed themselves to say, knowing that their words were actively sculpting their future. This goes far beyond positive thinking. It's about recognizing the causal relationship between your declarations and your destiny. The script you speak becomes the script you live. This revelation transforms your relationship with language itself. Suddenly, casual complaints about money become unthinkable once you understand they're actually instructions to the universe. Statements like, "I can't afford that," or "money is always tight," are actually powerful creative directives that your subconscious mind faithfully executes. Now that you understand the one-time declaration principle and the generative power of your words, let me reveal the astonishing connection between your inner conversations and the financial reality that surrounds you daily. If you're ready to speak with new awareness about your financial future, type "conscious creator" in the comments below. What makes the wealth-activating phrase so remarkably potent isn't the arrangement of letters or the sound vibrations it creates in the air. The real power lies in the invisible energy field of belief that surrounds and infuses your words. When Florence Scovel Shinn revealed that every word is imagination made visible, she was sharing a profound truth about the architecture of reality itself. Your words are simply the physical vessels that carry your beliefs into the material world. Think of them as containers. What fills those containers is what matters most. When you speak from a place of absolute certainty, your words become charged with creative energy. They become living things, ambassadors of your consciousness sent forth to reshape the external world according to your internal state. This understanding illuminates one of the most devastating hidden patterns, keeping millions trapped in financial struggle. Every day, without realizing it, people make unconscious declarations of poverty that program their reality. These seemingly innocent phrases might sound familiar. "I'll never get out of debt." "I can't afford that." "Money always slips through my fingers." "The rich get richer while the rest of us struggle." These aren't merely observations or comments. They're powerful directives to your subconscious mind and to the intelligent universe around you. Each time you make one of these statements, you're essentially saying, "This is who I am. This is what I believe. This is what I expect." And the universe, which operates as a perfect mirror, reflects these declarations back as your lived experience. The Chai-Si. Revelation here is that most people's financial difficulties aren't caused primarily by external economic conditions, but by their own unconscious self-sabotage. Your financial blueprint, the invisible template that determines how much wealth you allow yourself to receive, is being written continuously through your everyday language patterns. This awareness represents a profound paradigm shift in how you approach your financial journey. Rather than focusing exclusively on external strategies, like investments or income streams, though these certainly have their place, true transformation begins with becoming conscious of the wealth-repelling declarations you might be making dozens of times daily. The good news is that once you recognize these patterns, you can make a decisive choice to eliminate them from your vocabulary. This isn't about denying reality or pretending problems don't exist. It's about refusing to crystallize temporary conditions into permanent identity statements. Instead of saying, "I can't afford this," you might say, "I'm choosing to direct my money elsewhere right now." Instead of, "I'll never get ahead," you might say, "I'm in the process of creating financial freedom." This linguistic revolution in your daily life creates the fertile soil where the one-time wealth declaration can take root and flourish. Let me now share how your identity is fundamentally shaped by the words you choose, and how this directly impacts the amount of wealth you're able to receive and maintain. If you've caught yourself making these unconscious poverty declarations in the past, type "breaking the pattern" in the comments below. One of the most profound revelations on this journey is understanding that your words aren't just descriptions. They're actually garments of identity that you wrap around yourself. When you say, "I am broke," you're not merely commenting on your current bank balance. You're literally clothing yourself in the energy frequency of lack. That phrase becomes a garment you wear everywhere you go, invisible to the naked eye, but radiantly apparent to the intelligent universe that responds not to your wishes, but to your identity. This spiritual principle operates with mathematical precision. Whatever follows the words "I am" becomes your energetic attire, the costume you wear on the stage of life. And just as you wouldn't wear a swimsuit to a business meeting or formal attire to the beach, certain identity garments are completely incongruent with the experience of wealth. The universe simply mirrors back to you the identity you've clothed yourself in. What most people fail to realize is that they're dressing for financial poverty every single day through careless "I am" statements. "I'm terrible with money. I'm always the last to get paid. I'm not good with numbers." Each of these declarations is like putting on a garment that repels prosperity. The wealth you seek cannot recognize you because you're wearing the wrong identity uniform. Florence Scovel Shinn discovered this transformative truth after working with thousands of students. She observed that when people changed nothing but their identity statements, the "I am" declarations they made daily, their external circumstances inevitably transformed to match their new self-concept. It wasn't magic or mysticism. It was the precise application of universal law. This brings us to the revolutionary power of the wealth-activating phrase I'm about to reveal. What makes it so extraordinary is that it's not just a collection of words. It's literally a doorway into a new identity. When you step through this doorway by speaking the phrase with absolute conviction, you cannot return to your former self. The declaration creates an energetic boundary line in your consciousness, a before and after moment that fundamentally alters your relationship with prosperity. Once spoken with full faith, this phrase cannot be withdrawn from the field of infinite possibility. It begins working immediately, rearranging your energy field, shifting your perception, and sending ripples through the quantum fabric of reality itself. This is why speaking it once with absolute conviction is infinitely more powerful than repeating lesser affirmations thousands of times with doubt. The moment you speak this declaration, you're making a decisive choice about who you are at the most fundamental level. You're stepping out of the identity garments of lack and limitation and clothing yourself in the vibrant attire of abundance. And this identity-level transformation changes everything: how you think, how you feel, how you make decisions, and most importantly, how the world responds to you. This awakening to the creative power of your identity statements represents a pivotal turning point in your prosperity journey. Let me now reveal why most wealth-seeking efforts fail, and how this identity-based approach eliminates the need for struggle entirely. If you've experienced moments where changing how you see yourself changed everything around you, type identity shift in the comments below. The most revolutionary understanding you can embrace on your wealth journey is that your words are not passive descriptions of reality. They are active, creative forces that literally construct your experience from the ground up. Most people assume that words simply describe what already exists, but Florence Scovel Shinn discovered something far more profound. Your words are actually creating what will exist. Every declaration you make is like a seed being cast into the fertile soil of universal consciousness. These word seeds contain within them the blueprint of what will eventually manifest in your visible reality. Just as an acorn contains the intricate design for an entire oak tree, your words carry the complete pattern for experiences, circumstances, and conditions that will inevitably emerge in your life. This explains why some people remain trapped in cycles of financial struggle despite their best efforts. They're continuously planting the wrong seeds through their daily language patterns. Each complaint, each expression of doubt, each statement of impossibility is a seed that must, by universal law, grow into its corresponding physical equivalent. The harvest you're experiencing today is the direct result of the verbal seeds you planted yesterday. When you truly grasp this principle, it transforms how you approach every conversation, every thought, and every declaration. Your words are no longer casual or meaningless. They're precisely calibrated instruments of reality creation. This awareness brings both power and responsibility, as you recognize that you've been unconsciously creating your financial circumstances all along. Now, here's where most people encounter resistance on this journey. When you first begin to speak words that feel larger than your current reality, when you dare to declare prosperity, despite visible evidence of lack, something uncomfortable happens. Fear rises. Doubt creeps in. The mind rebels against what it perceives as contradiction. This internal resistance is actually a positive sign. It means you're challenging the old identity and pushing against the boundaries of your comfort zone. This moment of tension is where most people retreat back to their familiar limitations. But those who persist through this phase of discomfort discover something miraculous. When you steadfastly maintain your new declaration despite contrary evidence, the world around you begins to bend and reshape itself to accommodate your new identity. This isn't mystical thinking. It's how reality has always worked. The physical world is more malleable than you've been led to believe, and it responds directly to your persistent inner state. The key word here is persistence. You must hold your new declaration with unwavering conviction, especially when external circumstances haven't yet caught up with your internal shift. This gap between your inner knowing and outer manifestation is the testing ground where your new identity is strengthened. Each time you choose your declaration over the temporary evidence before your eyes, you accelerate the manifestation process. Let me now reveal the profound connection between your imagination and this creative process, and how Florence Scovel Shinn's revolutionary discovery about consciousness can transform your financial reality overnight. If you've ever persisted in believing something possible despite all evidence to the contrary, and then watched it manifest, type persistent faith in the comments below. When you truly grasp the magnitude of what we're discussing, you begin to see your words in an entirely new light. Your speech is not merely a tool for communicating with others. It's the primary instrument through which you bring your reality into being. Every word you utter is quite literally a brushstroke on the canvas of your existence. You are painting your life into reality with each phrase, each statement, each declaration that passes your lips. This revelation transforms ordinary conversations and anchoring yourself in a deeper truth that you are, in essence, abundance itself. When you make this courageous choice, the gap between your inner knowing and outer reality becomes temporary rather than permanent. Your circumstances must eventually conform to your embodied identity. Now, I want to go even deeper into the revolutionary phrase itself, the precise declaration that, when spoken once with absolute conviction, has the power to transform your financial reality forever. If you've noticed how your confidence and certainty about something seem to magnetically attract it into your life, type "identity magnetism" in the comments below. The moment has arrived to reveal the powerful phrase that Florence Scovel Shinn discovered, the declaration that, when spoken once with absolute conviction, has the power to transform your financial reality from the inside out. This isn't just another affirmation or visualization technique. It's a decisive identity statement that aligns you with the very frequency of abundance itself. The phrase is this: I am wealth, I am abundance, I am rich beyond measure. Take a moment to feel the resonance of these words. Notice that this isn't phrased as a future possibility or a distant goal. It's not, "I will be wealthy," or "I am becoming abundant." It's a direct declaration of your current identity, who you are right now, regardless of external circumstances. This immediate claiming of your prosperity consciousness is what gives the phrase its extraordinary power. When you speak these words, do so slowly and deliberately. Feel each syllable as it leaves your lips. Sense the vibration in your body as you declare this truth. But, and this is crucial, do not speak it as a wish, a hope, or a desperate plea to the universe. Speak it as a calm recognition of what has always been true about you beneath the temporary appearances of limitation. This is where most seekers of prosperity make a critical error. They repeat affirmations hundreds or thousands of times, hoping that through sheer repetition they'll eventually convince themselves of something they fundamentally doubt. But Florence Scovel Shinn discovered that this approach actually reinforces the underlying belief in lack. The very act of endless repetition betrays your disbelief. Instead, speak this wealth-activating phrase once with complete conviction, with the same certainty you'd say your own name. Then, rather than repeating it from a place of doubt, simply rest in the truth of what you've declared. Allow a profound silence to follow your declaration. A silence filled not with questioning, but with quiet knowing. This single declaration, when spoken from a place of absolute certainty, creates a decisive break between your old identity and your new state of being. It's like closing one door and opening another. The moment the phrase leaves your lips with full faith behind it, something irreversible happens in your consciousness. A seed is planted that must, by universal law, grow into its physical equivalent. The key here is not volume or repetition, but depth of conviction. Speaking it once with complete acceptance is infinitely more powerful than repeating it thousands of times with underlying doubt. When you truly know something, you don't need to keep convincing yourself of its truth. You simply live from that knowing. Let me now reveal the extraordinary power hidden in the words, "I am," and why what follows these two simple words determines the entire landscape of your life experience. If you feel a resonance with this phrase as I speak it, if something within you recognizes its truth beyond your current circumstances, type "I recognize my truth" in the comments below. Florence Scovel Shinn discovered something extraordinary about the two simple words that begin the wealth-activating phrase. "I am" is not just a grammatical construction. It's the most powerful creative force in the universe working through you. Throughout spiritual traditions across history, these words have been recognized as the name of the divine creative principle itself. When you declare "I am," you're invoking the infinite intelligence that shapes worlds. Whatever follows these two potent words becomes an irrevocable command to your subconscious mind and to the universe itself. "I am broke" must create experiences of lack. I am unlucky with money must manifest as financial misfortune. I am wealth must express as prosperity. This isn't metaphorical or philosophical. It's the precise mechanism by which your reality forms around you. The power of I am is absolute and operates with mathematical precision. This revelation explains why the wealth-activating phrase begins with these specific words. When you declare, I am wealth, you're not making a casual statement. You're issuing a divine decree through the creative power within you. This decree must, by spiritual law, manifest in your tangible experience. There is no option for failure when this declaration is spoken once with complete faith, because you've activated the very same power that sustains galaxies. The extraordinary truth is that the universe cannot distinguish between you and your I am statements. To consciousness, they are one and the same. This is why, whatever follows, I am in your declarations inevitably becomes your lived experience. You are literally speaking your reality into existence with each I am statement you make, whether consciously or unconsciously. After you speak the wealth-activating phrase with absolute conviction, something remarkable begins to happen in the fabric of your reality. It's as though the universe itself begins to rearrange its components to align with your new declaration. This isn't magical thinking. It's the natural consequence of shifting your fundamental identity at the causal level of creation. The world around you has no choice but to reflect this internal transformation. Circumstances that once seemed fixed begin to shift. People who can facilitate your prosperity suddenly appear in your life. Doors that were previously invisible now stand open before you. Opportunities that were hidden in plain sight become obvious. None of these external changes initiated the process. They're all responding to the decisive shift in your consciousness that occurred when you spoke the phrase. This reorganization of your reality isn't random or coincidental. It's the precise outpicturing of your new identity. The external world must, by immutable law, conform to who you know yourself to be. This is why a single declaration, when spoken from absolute knowing, changes everything. You've altered the causal level of reality, and all effects must rearrange themselves accordingly. Let me now reveal the sacred silence that follows this declaration, the profound stillness where the real transformation unfolds before it becomes visible to your physical senses. If you've ever witnessed reality seemingly reorganize itself around a decision you made with absolute certainty, type reality shift in the comments below. After you've spoken this powerful phrase with conviction, you enter into perhaps the most sacred part of the entire manifestation process, the silence that follows. This isn't an empty silence or a waiting silence, but rather a rich, pregnant silence filled with creative potential. Most people miss the transformative power of this quiet moment because they've been conditioned to believe that manifestation requires constant effort, endless repetition, or perpetual visualization. Florence Scovel Shinn discovered something far more profound, that the real magic happens not in the endless speaking, but in the quiet acceptance that follows your declaration. This silence is where your consciousness settles into its new state of being. It's where the inner knowing takes root and begins to grow into tangible expression. The power isn't in how many times you repeat the phrase, but in how completely you rest in the truth of what you've spoken. Think of this as a sacred ritual of imagination. Not imagination as fantasy, but imagination as the creative faculty through which all reality forms. In this silence, you're not asking, hoping, or pleading with the universe to give you wealth. You're simply resting in the absolute certainty that what you've declared is already done in the realm of causes, and its physical manifestation is now inevitable. This stillness becomes a space of profound surrender, not surrender to external forces, but surrender to the truth of who you already are. You release the desperate need to make it happen through force of will. You let go of the anxious timeline of when it must appear. You simply know that it is done, and this knowing carries an unmistakable peace that transcends your current circumstances. The journey from inner declaration to outer manifestation is much like a farmer planting a seed. After carefully placing the seed in fertile soil, the wise farmer doesn't dig it up every few hours to check if it's growing. Such impatience would only disrupt the natural process of germination. Instead, the farmer trusts the soil, trusts the seed, and trusts the invisible processes of nature to do their perfect work beneath the surface. So it is with the wealth-activating phrase. Once spoken with complete conviction, the seed is planted in the fertile soil of consciousness. Your job now isn't to keep digging it up through doubt or impatience. It isn't to water it with anxiety or force it to grow through endless effort. Your job is simply to trust the process, to maintain the quiet certainty that what you've planted must, by universal law, grow into its full expression. This trust is perhaps the greatest demonstration of your faith in the creative process. When you truly trust, you don't need constant reassurance or visible evidence. You don't need to repeatedly speak the phrase or obsessively monitor for signs of manifestation. You simply rest in a profound inner knowing that transcends the temporary appearances of the physical world. Let me now reveal what happens in the invisible realm during this period of sacred silence. How the seed of your declaration begins to germinate in ways that are imperceptible to your physical senses, but profoundly real in the causal dimension of creation. If you've experienced moments of profound inner peace after making a decision with complete certainty, type sacred silence in the comments below. One of the most profound revelations Florence Scovel Shinn discovered in her spiritual journey turns conventional manifestation teaching completely upside down. When you speak the wealth-activating phrase, you're not actually creating something new or trying to attract something that doesn't exist. What you're really doing is remembering, reconnecting with the version of yourself who has always been wealthy at the soul level. This perspective shift changes everything. Think about it this way. Beneath all temporary appearances of limitation lies your true nature, abundant, prosperous, and complete. Financial struggle isn't your authentic state. It's a forgetting of who you truly are. The phrase works because it triggers a profound remembering, a recognition of your inherent wealth consciousness that has always existed beneath the illusions of lack. This understanding eliminates the desperate energy that often sabotages manifestation efforts. When you believe you're creating something entirely new or trying to attract something you've never had, there's an underlying anxiety, a fear that it might not work. But when you recognize that you're simply aligning with what's already true about your deeper nature, the entire process transforms. There's a profound peace that comes from remembering rather than pursuing. Florence Scovel Shinn observed this pattern in thousands of students. Those who approached prosperity as something to chase or achieve often remained in struggle, despite their best efforts. But those who approached it as a remembering, a return to their natural state of abundance, experienced breakthroughs that seemed miraculous by conventional standards. Once they remembered their true prosperity, consciousness, the world had no choice but to conform to this inner awakening. This remembering isn't metaphorical or symbolic. It's a literal realignment with your authentic blueprint. Think of it as tuning a radio to a station that's always been broadcasting but wasn't coming through clearly. The prosperity frequency has always been available to you, but various interferences, limiting beliefs, family conditioning, cultural programming created static that prevented clear reception. The cow phrase works by instantly clearing that static and tuning you to your natural abundance frequency. In the days following your decisive declaration, something remarkable begins to happen. Watch for the small signs first. They're easy to miss if you're expecting dramatic, overnight transformation. Perhaps an unexpected refund arrives in the mail. Maybe someone offers you an opportunity you weren't seeking. Or you might find money in a forgotten pocket. These seemingly small synchronicities are actually profound indicators, the first fruits of the seed you planted, tangible proof that the universal law is already working in response to your declaration. These initial manifestations aren't the full harvest, but rather the first sprouts breaking through the soil. They serve as confirmation that the process is unfolding perfectly. Many people miss these early signs because they're looking for complete transformation all at once. But just as nature doesn't produce a fully formed oak tree, overnight, your prosperity manifestation typically unfolds in progressive stages, each building upon the last. Let me now reveal what happens when people doubt during this crucial germination phase, and how to maintain your prosperity consciousness even when external evidence hasn't yet caught up with your internal shift. If you've experienced these first signs of manifestation after making a powerful internal shift, type "first fruits" in the comments below. You've stayed with me through a profound journey of understanding the creative power that lives within you. What I've shared today isn't just theory or wishful thinking. It's a timeless principle that Florence Scovel Shinn discovered through working with thousands of students who transformed their financial reality with a single decisive shift in consciousness. If you felt something awakening within you as we've explored these truths, a recognition that perhaps you've been approaching wealth from the wrong direction, all sigh along. Trust that feeling. It's your deeper self recognizing a truth that your logical mind might still be processing. Remember, the phrase, "I am wealth, I am abundance, I am rich beyond measure," isn't magical in itself. The power lies in the consciousness shift it creates when spoken once with absolute conviction. Speak it now, in this moment, from a place of quiet knowing rather than desperate hope. Then watch for those first signs in the coming days. The unexpected opportunities, the fortuitous connections, the synchronicities that seem too perfect to be coincidence. These aren't random events, but the first visible expressions of your new identity taking form in your physical reality. If you found value in these teachings and want to continue this journey of consciousness transformation with me, hit subscribe below. Each week, I share powerful principles that can help you awaken to your true nature as a conscious creator in all areas of life. If this message resonated with your soul today, type "divine abundance" in the comments. I'd love to know who's walking this path of conscious creation alongside me. And if you enjoyed our time together, a simple like lets me know these teachings are finding the right people at the right time. There's a video right here that reveals how to apply these same principles to transform your relationships just as powerfully as your finances. Click and continue with me there as we explore how the same law that governs wealth also governs love. Until next time, remember, you are not becoming wealthy. You are remembering that you have always been